I am Miles Edgeworth, a prosecutor.
What a twist of fate. I am in your debt. It's thanks to you that I've completely recovered.
There's no need for thanks. Since you're alive, we can reach the truth behind the incident 18 years ago.
What do you speak of?
While you were unconscious, the truth has started to come to light. You may be Isaac Dover's murderer.
What? Really?
Miss Hall was looking for the criminal behind the events of 18 years ago. That's why she set up the poison gas in the Pisces case. Mr. Gustavia, the events of the incident 18 years ago. Tell us what really happened. So you wish to remain silent? Nah, I think he's just meditating.
He can sleep standing up? What a useful skill to have!
Meditation is different from sleeping, though. Mr. Gustavia, please tell us what you did 18 years ago.
I'm the criminal because I fell for the trap. That's not a funny joke. I am a victim, not a culprit.
Mr. Gustavia, it has not yet been made clear whether or not you are the criminal. This is only their baseless speculation. Do not concern yourself with the drivel of a prosecutor without jurisdiction.
At least there is no one person here who understands. Or at least there is one person here who understands.
My name is Justine Courtney. I am a judge. If you would like, I would be happy to assist you. Let us show Prosecutor Edgeworth the truth of 18 years ago.
Let us show you how much we're gonna crush your truth, too.
Understood. I shall prove my innocence to you, Sir Prosecutor.
Judge Courtney, is that your answer? Do you intend to bury the truth of the IS-7 incident before it can be brought to light?
I merely believe in the judgment of the goddess of law.
Ultimately, those who render judgment are only human. As long as humans control the law, there is no guarantee that every verdict is correct. If you are going to help conceal the truth, I will not hold back.
I'm looking forward to it.
Lady Justine, what should I do now?
You are being suspected because you set off the poison gas. Can you tell us the reason? Why you opened the Pisces case?
Understood. I came to see Sir Dover's work from 18 years ago. However, I accidentally entered the museum a half an hour.
Accidentally?
Entered the museum a half hour before it opened.
Miss Hall, there was nobody at the entrance, correct?
Since I thought the criminal from 18 years ago might be coming, I had no security guards in place. I didn't even lock the doors. I was very busy with opening preparations, so there was nobody on the first floor. In addition, I locked every palace door aside from the autumn one.
I see. This must have been done in order to lure the criminal to the Autumn Palace. Which is why he ended up entering the Autumn Palace.
It's already suspicious that he snuck into the museum in the first place. The gallery should remain silent. Unless you have evidence that can prove his testimony false, I will not allow any objections. Gallery? This isn't even a courtroom! Now then, why did you open the Pisces case?
I wish to view Sir Dover's handiwork up close. The Gemini sculptor. No, it was actually the Pisces, wasn't it? The lid had been frozen shut, so I borrowed a burner to open it. But as soon as I opened the lid, poison gas began pouring out.
That's quite a convenient testimony.
It sounds like a total lie, doesn't it? There are parts of Mr. Gustavia's testimony that I have issues with as well. However, there is no evidence to disprove it. But that's...
Would it not make sense for suspicion to fall on Lady Catherine before myself? He may have intended to release the poison gas haphazardly.
Objection.
Kate turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She was specifically targeting the person who triggered the trap. Mr. Gustavia, you were her only target.
You You are willing to accept the words of this criminal as the truth?
Miss Hall must atone for her crimes. However, the same can be said for the criminal of 18 years ago. From 18 years ago.
Sir Prosecutor, it seems you wish to suspect me to the bitter end. However, I had no reason to murder Sir Dover. If there is no evidence to suggest that I killed him, you cannot suspect me.
True.
Mr. Edgeworth, can't you prove that Mr. Gustavia is the criminal?
All we know for sure is that Mr. Gustavia fell victim to the poison gas. No matter how strange his behavior was, it won't prove he committed the murder.
But that's... Mr. Shields, is there nothing we can do?
Well, if there isn't any evidence, we should try reorganizing the facts. If Mr. Gustavia was the one who killed Mr. Dover, there must have been a motive. Motive. Mr. Gustavia himself is denying that such a motive exists. Collecting some motives. Some logic. It's not easy to take another person's life. 18 years ago, your old man also discussed motive with Prosecutor Von Karma. You claim their collaboration is irrelevant. If Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover's relationship had turned sour, it could serve as a motive for murder. We couldn't talk with Mr. Gustavia 18 years ago, but this time things are different. If we connect everything we've learned so far, the truth might be revealed. Yes, I suppose so. It seems I must re-examine the information from 18 years ago. I must recall all the details that have remained unexplained.
So, the glove finger marks on the picture frame was your doing?
Alicia denied leaving finger marks on the frame. If they were left by Mr. Gustavia, he may have been trying to view the angel's recipe.
Mr. Master asked me to change the film in the camera. It seems the film he prepared in advance wasn't enough.
There wasn't enough film.
It seems the number of photos he took didn't match up with the amount of film remaining. Well, he told me himself. It might have just been a mistake, though.
Interesting. The information my father collected 18 years ago was certainly not for naught. We're bringing them back! If there's no evidence, then I shall use logic to reveal the truth. Alright, so, motive for the murder, and the... where's the... there. Partnership turning sour. Excuse me. Mr. Gustavia, you collaborated with the victim, Isaac Dover, to create your desserts, didn't you?
Oh? It seems you know about my secret.
Mr. Shields told me about it. Mr. Dover handled the design while you were in charge of the taste. Is that correct?
Back then my training had been insufficient.
It seems you worked together through the semifinals, but not during the finals. Why is that?
We both wish to compete in the finals against Sir Master on our own merits.
Don't think so. You must have also helped with Isaac Dover's desserts even during the finals.
What makes you able to declare something like that?
Didn't you tell Prosecutor Von Karma about it yourself 18 years ago? That you cooperated until the day before the finals. The sculptures in Mr. Dover's room were all made of sorbet. Such an amount would most likely need to be left overnight to freeze. Which means Mr. Gustavia prepared Mr. Dover's sorbet in advance the day before.
That's right. So you realize Gustavia's cooperation ended the day before the finals.
Then, why did Mr. Dover not help Mr. Gustavia in return?
The views of the dead are of no concern to me.
Why did Isaac Dover not help you in return? If there's a reason why your partnership with Isaac Dover broke down, that would be a motive for murder.
Oh. That could be a possibility. However, Sir Dover and I ended our partnership peacefully.
A peaceful breakup? That's hard to imagine.
Not to mention, it's absurd to think that I killed Sir Dover in Sir Master's room. I couldn't have killed Sir Dover while Sir Master was also there making his desserts.
So the murder happened in a different room?
In other words, there's no way I could have committed the murder.
That's not true. If there was a moment when Mr. Master was absent from the room, I could prove that it was possible for Mr. Gustavio to commit the murder. Alright, now, the remaining film and also the angel recipe. Something tells me they were taking pictures of the angel's recipe. If he had photographed the contents of the angel's recipe, he wouldn't need to steal it. Perhaps Mr. Gustavio used Mr. Master's camera to take the pictures.
If he had stolen the actual recipe book, the police would have found out.
I see. Pictures, eh? The problem is the time at which he entered Mr. Master's room. Mr. Gustavia could have moved around freely during the afternoon tea, right? Because it seems both him and Mr. Dover did not participate in the afternoon tea. That must have been where he murdered him! If I remember correctly, the only time he can prove that Mr. Dover was still alive is...
The victim was not seen as he stayed locked up in his room after the contest had begun. The only one who could have unlocked the locked rooms was Jeff Master.
Was Master's dessert all that you ate?
Actually, no. After that afternoon tea, I also ate Icy's desserts.
After the contest began, Isaac Dover was locked up in his room. If we assumed he was killed at some point before Delicia snuck into his room, then there is a high chance that he was killed before the afternoon tea was over. Final logic piece. Afternoon tea and murder. I have to stop this very soon. Alas, Isaac Dover was alive up until the afternoon tea began. Ergo, that is the only time when Gustavia could have killed Dover.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you satisfied?
Sorry, but I am far from satisfied. Because I'm finally starting to see the truth behind this case.
Are you saying you have found some evidence to show us that truth?
No, there is no need to present any evidence, since we can just have Gustavia tell us the truth.
So this is where you use that, right?
Indeed. Mr. Gustavia, there is one thing I want you to tell me. Are you meditating again? I said, Mr. Gustavia, there is still one thing I want you to tell me.
No! What is it?
During the finals of the contest, you made your desserts on your own.
I wanted to compete for the title of the world's greatest pastry chef on my own merits.
If that was truly the case, you would have competed on your own merits from the start. I want you to tell me why it was necessary for you to cooperate with Isaac Dover. Oh, are we going into logic chest? Oh, we're going into logic chest. During the contest 18 years ago, Mr. Gustavio collaborated with Mr. Dover. I wonder, what made them decide to cooperate in the first place? That's what I need to draw out from him, but... He's meditating again. I can't start this logic chest because, well, we're almost out of time. It seems he pretends to meditate when things aren't going his way. That's unfortunate for him, because we're gonna break his meditation in the next video.